Good afternoon, everybody. So I get asked this question a lot. Why did you come to Hua Hin? Why did you choose it to live in? Is it the right place for you to come and be semi-retired or retired or work here? So I thought it was interesting. A few months ago, there was a survey initiated by Hua Hin Today, which is the local periodical, and the BeWell Medical Center, and supported by some faculty members from Assumption University, and they gathered responses from 512 foreign nationals aged 55 and over. And to qualify to participate in the survey, the respondents had to have been living in Hua Hin for at least 6 months per year and have done so for a minimum of 2 years. So they surveyed people who've been here long enough to understand what's going on. So the findings took a while to do. I think it took about 4 months to do the survey, and then they were presented in April of 2025. So first of all, what to expect from a demographics perspective. Um, the survey paints a predominantly older male community. Around 81% of the respondents were male. Uh, about half of them were aged between 66 and 75. Nearly 68% reported being married or living with a partner, and many were in long-term relationships with Thai nationals. Respondents represented 76 nationalities, though the demographic was dominated by Western expats. Nearly 59% were from Western Europe, including the UK, Switzerland, Scandinavia, the Netherlands, Germany, and France, followed by only about 12% from the United States. Other respondents included South Africans, Australians, New Zealanders, and smaller numbers from Asia and Africa. I think this is a very interesting point that there are far fewer expats from the U.S. I think U.S. expats tend to feel more comfortable either closer proximity to places like Costa Rica to where, or Central America, where they can get back to the U.S. easily for medical care or see family. Um, and I think they tend to just not be as adventurous. Southeast Asia is a very exotic place, and so um, you know, I I think the Europeans are more adventurous, frankly. But I mean, it's just my thoughts on it. I have noticed though here that there are a lot of Australians that are in Thailand too. Even though it says 59% of the respondents were from Western Europe, I think the actual number of Australians far exceeds the amount of U.S. people that are here. The professional backgrounds of Hua Hin's expat community suggest a highly skilled population. 66 were formerly employed in corporate or salaried positions, and about 20% were self-employed, and just 3% had not worked prior to. One other thing to note from my observations from being here for about a year now is there's a lot more younger people moving into Hua Hin. I'm seeing more families. I'm seeing more young people. I know some of them are probably just here um, visiting on vacation, but Hua Hin is not an easy place to get to. I mean, you pretty much fly into Bangkok and then you have to take a 3 hour bus, train, or taxi ride. So it's not exactly around the block from Bangkok. All right. So to continue on with the survey, most respondents are not new arrivals. The average time living in Thailand uh, among the respondents of the survey was 12 and a half years. The average was 7. With over a quarter having lived in Hua Hin for more than a decade, the largest group had 31% had lived in the city between 5 and 10 years. Um, so another result out of this survey is that there are pretty high satisfaction levels here. When asked whether living in Hua Hin met their expectations, 96.5% said that it met or exceeded what they had hoped for. Only 3.5% said it was short. The strong approval rating considered factors like affordability. I can tell you it's very affordable here. Safety, climate, and access to healthcare were consistently rated highly by participants. The top reasons residents cited for choosing Hua Hin over the other locations in Thailand included the proximity to Bangkok. If you need to get to a major airport, you're 3 hours away. Access to the beach, golf facilities, the city's climate, and the city's peaceful atmosphere was cited by almost 8% of the respondents. For lifestyle and community, around 56% of respondents said they regularly dine out, while 51% participate in some form of sport, particularly golf, which was it's a major draw for many. There's like 8 golf courses here. Nearly 43% said they frequently enjoy the beach. Yeah, that the golfing here is a big thing. When I first got here, I couldn't imagine golfing in weather this hot, but I think I could do it now because I've gotten acclimated to it. It just takes a little bit. With regards to dining out, especially if you eat Thai food, it is very, very affordable here in Hua Hin. Much more affordable than I think Pattaya or Phuket or Bangkok. It, you know, two people can easily go out and have dinner for less than 10 US dollars. So when you're eating Thai food, it gets a little bit more expensive if you're eating Western food. Um, and there's quite a bit of Western foods here. Let's see. So yeah, safety and security was a big one. Actually received the highest satisfaction score in the survey, averaging 4.18 out of 5. They also praised Hua Hin's social environment. Many reported feeling welcomed by the local Thai population, and they said the presence of a sizable, well-integrated expat community added to their sense of belonging. Yeah, that's a big thing. Also, there are many Facebook groups that you can get involved with, and they will help you meet other expats in the community. There are no shortages of uh, social activities you can do. I came over here with my wife and 2 dogs, so we go out a few times a week with friends and go have dinner or lunch and socialize. But there are some people that come here that are single and they literally go out every single day. They're, you know, in knitting groups and yoga groups and, coffee groups. So there's plenty to do socially around here. And it's very easy to meet other expats. Healthcare in Hua Hin received strong ratings. There are 2 major hospitals here. There's Bangkok Hospital and Hua Hin Hospital. Bangkok Hospital is a private hospital. Hua Hin Hospital is a government-run hospital. They're both supposed to be excellent. I've personally used Bangkok Hospital, and the healthcare I got there was state of the art. I also use the BeWell Medical Center to do just my routine care, blood checks and stuff like that. Interesting thing that came out of the survey, especially since they had mostly larger crowd, um, is medical care is very cheap here, but that depends on what you have to do. I mean, if you got some terminally ill disease or something like that, and you need like pretty much uh, constant care, it may be cheaper. And the people that are older, like I'd say over 75, that's one of the number one things they consider for leaving Thailand is because they have to purchase insurance here, and the insurance gets expensive the older you get. And as you get older, you need more healthcare because more things start breaking on you. So um, I thought that was interesting, and especially because there's such a high percentage of Western Europeans. If you're from the UK or from Spain, for example, um, they have socialized medicine, so you don't have to pay for your healthcare, whereas you do here in Thailand, um, or you have to pay for some kind of insurance. So I thought that was an interesting aspect of this survey. Um, yeah, in the survey they said while the cost of medical treatment in Hua Hin was seen as relatively affordable, the rising cost of insurance premiums with age was clearly on the minds of many retirees. And some respondents indicated that health insurance costs were a factor in their consideration of whether they remain in Thailand long term, particularly among those aged 55 to 60. So, key concerns obviously, watching the video, road safety and traffic. Um, the driving here is you have to keep your head on a swivel. Um, and especially watch out for the motorbikes. There's lots of delivery drivers. You'd see this guy on my left hand side. He could end up sliding over in front of me and without warning. So you just always have to be defensive. Same with that silver car that just pulled out. Um, Air pollution was another concern. There's, you know, uh, the air quality here is not great in Thailand overall. It's mostly due to burning They do a lot of agriculture here, and they burn the fields. It's very seasonal. Chiang Mai is well known in the north as being one of the worst parts for several months out of the year. It's also there's a lot of car traffic, um, and motorbikes on the road. But I will say that there's a huge amount of EVs that are being brought in here, mostly Chinese EVs. But I think that's gonna really help the air quality, as we get more of the gas burning cars off the road, and more EVs. But we'll see what happens. Another concern was taxation. Um, Financial uncertainty, particularly regarding taxation of foreign income, was cited by a number of respondents. Some expressed concern that future tax changes in Thailand could affect the financial viability of retirement in the country. Okay. Visa regulations. Uh, yeah, the visa regulations, they changed like pretty frequently, and there's a lot of uncertainty around that. Like almost everybody I know has a different type of visa than my wife and I have. There's a few. We have the long-term resident visa, but that's a real concern, especially when you have to check in at an immigration office 90 days, or if you're here on a tourist visa, you can only stay so long, then you have to leave the country for 4 or 5 days, and now they're starting to crack down on that more and more. So yeah, visa regulations, I can see why that's a concern. Stray dogs and cleanliness. Um, you know, there's there's some places that aren't very clean, but there's plenty of places like you can see in the video right now that are perfectly clean. So there are a lot of stray dogs here. They're called soy dogs, and because the nature and the religion of the Thai people, they tend to take care of them, right? So they leave food out for them, water, and they just keep breeding. So there are several active dog programs here where they pick up soy dogs and they go ahead and they get them neutered so they can't have a litter of puppies. Um, but there's a lot of dogs here, so they do tend to be well fed. So I've never had a dog really be aggressive more than a bark at me. But most of the time they're just laying around in the shade. So retention and relocation is the next category. When asked about their future plans, 83.8% of respondents said they had no intention of leaving Hua Hin within the next 2 years. Only 16.2, or roughly 1 in 6, indicated that they may relocate. Among those considering a move, preferred alternative destinations include Spain, Vietnam, and Portugal. Notably, no other city in Thailand was mentioned with any frequency. So I find that very interesting. I mean, the people that want to come to Hua Hin, they come here for a particular reason. It's fairly quiet. It's not a party town like Pattaya or Phuket, and we still get our high season because it's still a beach town, but it's not crazy here. And so I think people really like that. They find it relaxing. Vietnam, that is another country that I hear a lot about, because mostly because the cost of living there is cheap. As a matter of fact, I think the cost of living in Vietnam is marginally cheaper than it is here in Thailand. Spain and Portugal, obviously, they're well regarded as popular places to retire, but they're not going to be cheaper than Thailand. If I had to guesstimate, I've been doing a little research. It's probably, I'm guessing, 20%, um, 20%, 10 to 20% more expensive there in Spain and Portugal than Thailand. Um, The reasons for potential relocation largely mirrored the key concerns highlighted in the survey: taxation, pollution, and healthcare affordability. Um, a smaller number cited personal or family reasons for returning home or moving elsewhere. And those are the key things in this survey. I hope that provided some use to you. I do have access to the actual survey data itself. It gets more comprehensive. If you, I'll go ahead and put a link in it for you at the in the description of the video. Once again, if you found this content helpful or useful, or if you have any questions for me, obviously uh, leave a comment for me. I try to answer everybody's comments, but um, yeah, and don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps to grow the channel, and look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks.